Oh, God.
How about number 7?
Yeah, you really want to do that? Kevin from New York. You want to do Kevin from New York, Katy? Let the record reflect that Katy has brought this on us.
I picked it. I'll take the flack for this.
Here we go. His flack is coming. Kevin from New York.
Hi, Kevin. How can we help you? What's your argument
you guys.
today?
Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
A good day to both of you.
What's that?
A good day to both of you.
Good day to you too, Kevin. Good day to you.
Oh, thank you. I like to talk about my thoughts on how I believe that the Earth seems to be made just for us human beings.
And why? Why is it? Don't tell us how it's made for human beings. Why do you believe it's made for only for us human beings? And I assume dogs and cats and hippopotamuses and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't seem it to me, but
yeah,
go ahead.
I don't see it. Go on.
Well, for me, that it seems to work that way, both inside and outside the Earth. Both the moon, the solar system, for example, outside. If you take into example the beginning of the outer planets, say, for example, Jupiter and Saturn, their great gravitational fields sort of work in a way to where it works as a force field, and in a way that the inner solar system could remain generally peaceful.
Tell that to all the craters on the moon.
Local than that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Tell that to the dinosaurs.
That happened a long time ago. That happened a very, very long time ago.
6,000 years ago. That's right.
That's some of my points.
It could happen tomorrow. Katie's exactly right. Just because it hasn't happened within your lifetime or the human species' lifetime, although it may have, doesn't mean it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Yes.
But
even
okay, go ahead.
But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Even closer than that, planets such as Venus is an example of, say, an Earth-like planet with runaway global warming. Mars would be an example of an Earth-like planet with its atmosphere stripped away. But again, all this refers back to what it's like from our perspective.
Yeah, from our perspective, because the conditions are not, Kevin, because the conditions are not otherwise, because they are livable in many parts of the world, we're here to have this conversation. And if they weren't like that, we probably wouldn't be here. So we'd be somewhere else, or we wouldn't even exist.
So, but also we say like the conditions on Earth are, good for human life, but only in a minority of it. Most of the Earth, in terms of volume and in terms of surface area, humans can't live on. We can't live, in the seas, under the seas. We can't live in the magma. We can't live in the poles. We can't live in the deserts. Like loads of it is just completely inhospitable to humans.
Yep.
And only now is much of it hospitable because we've had thousands of years of developing technology to basically destroy it and change it so it works better for us. I mean, right now, where I'm living, maybe if I was alive 1,000 years ago, I'd be a bit more of a hardy person, but I can't tolerate the cold. And in October in the UK, it's too fucking cold. I have heating on, and that's the only reason that I can exist in this country. And I guess, I'd say for sure, Venus is inhospitable to humans, and Mars is inhospitable to humans without technology, just like lots of Earth is. But if I was going to design a planet that was like, if I was some kind of god and I was going to create some kind of creature that lived there, to be honest, if I was a god, I don't know why I would create restrictions on life anyway. I'll just make it so life just can exist without needing things. Like, why would you create space? Why would you create meteors and like gamma radiation and stuff which kills people when they're not on the planet? Like, what's the point in that? But if I was gonna create a planet in those conditions for some reason, I don't know why I would make it as crummy as Earth. Like, why would I ever make it cold? I would make it 35 degrees centigrade all the time, because that would be perfect.
I agree with some of what you were saying, but
what don't you agree with? What don't you agree with?
Which bit do you not agree with?
Well, it's sort of contrary to what you were saying because when it comes to things that we need, say for example, our diet. I bring up our diet because the things that we consume can be in such a variety, but as long as it's brought within a balance, it turns out to be exactly what we need.
Okay, so tell that to starving people in various parts of the world, that they have everything they need. Tell that to the people who are the victims of the guinea worm, who are. Oh, is that a hand gesture, Katie? Are you?
It's a hairball. Sorry, I've just been stroking my cat.
Tell that to the kitties of the world who have to suffer with hairballs day and night. Now, you're counting, Kevin, those instances where humans are flourishing, where there is an abundance of good stuff. But there are people who don't have everything they need. There are children and adults who suffer from diseases and who suffer from starvation. And oftentimes a lack of resources can result in conflict. So even if they're not killed by a disease or starvation, they may be killed by intertribal warfare, international warfare, in a struggle for power so that they can control the resources. What about that? Does your loving God want humans to kill each other so they can get the necessities of life?
No.
So why doesn't your loving God just do a
just make
Thanos?
enough.
Yeah, why doesn't your loving God just do like a Q or a Thanos snap of the fingers and everyone has MREs or, I don't know, healthy food pop into the refrigerator every single day? What are we going to have? What's got to give us today? Oh, manna again? Well, that's all right. Sure. Manna with curry, manna with coconut milk, manna with, I don't know, something.
I think malnutrition and not access to clean water is a huge problem for a huge, chunk of the human population. And I think if I was, going to create a world designed for humans, that just wouldn't be a thing. You would always be within walk of close fresh water, and you'd always be able to grow food wherever you lived, or even just we'd have enough space.
Because the way it looks, honestly, Kevin, the way it looks is that the world is just the way it is. And in those places where there are enough resources, just enough resources to survive, people are there. Kind of like when you see moss on a rock or vegetation on the side of a very dry landscape. There's just enough water for the plant to survive there. And in those places where it's not, there are no plants. There's no moss.
And in the places where there is more water, then a plant that can absorb the water faster will outgrow the one that's evolved to live in the condition where it can survive on no water.
Yeah.
They're filling the gaps in the like competition space.
You got the cart before the horse, Kevin, I think. Yeah. It does bring up the really uncomfortable subject of death and suffering. But theists such as myself really do believe that there will be a recompense amongst mankind.
Why? Why do you believe that there will be a Why do you believe there'll be a recompense among mankind? If that's what you said.
The reason why I believe that is because logically, when it comes to really bad things such as slavery, I don't see anyone other than to blame than ourselves.
Okay, so it's not fair. So what you're saying is it's not fair that people would get away with doing the bad stuff. And so therefore, the universe is, you're just claiming this, the universe is a place of fairness. Tell that to the children who have parasites. And there will be a comeuppance for those baddies. Is that what you're saying? In the principle of fairness.
But like your God made it unfair in the first place. So I don't think it really cares about fairness. Like if the God cared about fairness, then we wouldn't have this.
So prove to me that fairness is an inherent quality of existence in this universe, Kevin.
Or your God.
Or your God. Go ahead. Lay it out.
Well,
we're here. Poppy wants to hear it.
Agree that
he's listening.
Of course, we would agree that the most unfortunate that fall among us are the ones who fall into the category of the ones who experience a brief life on this earth. But
No,
in fairness,
I don't know about that.
maybe you could live a life of torture.
Have to eventually die.
Yeah, we don't have to die because the God could have created us immortal. It chose not to. But like, if God was like, you have to die, then, and it cared about fairness, then it'd be like, you're all going to die after the same amount of time.
Right.
But then instead, it's like, actually, some people are going to die, and some people are going to have really short lives where they just suffer for the entire thing.
Yeah.
And others aren't.
Yeah.
And I've chosen this. Like, this is an active decision that I made. I was like, what we could do is have everyone equal. Or what we could do is have some children starve to death in anguish, and then we'll sort it out afterwards. Just fix it in post.
So Kevin, you didn't actually answer the question. You kind of just sidestepped it. So again, prove to me that fairness is an inherent quality to the universe brought forth by your God. Prove it to me right now. And Poppy has already lost interest, but I know Poppy's within earshot. Give it to us, Kevin.
I'll put an earphone in.
Not what you believe. Don't describe the world we live in. Prove it. Please, Kevin, come on. You've been on like 27 times or so. Give us the good stuff.
I don't think that fairness is something that's pushed and forced on by God, because the framework was already laid out that we already had everything that we need. But
wait, did you think fairness existed outside of God? Or
he's sidestepping again. Kevin, you're sidestepping again. You say that those who do the bad stuff will face a comeuppance, right? That tells me that you believe that fairness is an inherent quality to the universe and or your God. So prove to me that that's the case.
Because all the evidence looks the other way.
It looks like there's no God, and it looks like the universe is, hey,
it's unfair as fuck.
Take it or don't. There's the door. Ring that bell. Just ring that bell. I want to hear you ring that bell. That's what it sounds like.
Sidestep. I promise you I'm not trying to sidestep with this response, but I would first have to prove to you that there's existence after death.
Okay, go ahead. Prove to me there's existence after death. Go ahead, Kevin. Prove to me there's existence after death. I want to know, because I have a crippling fear of death, Kevin. All right? Sometimes I wake up and I got the shakes. Not often, not that much. Dogs help. But sometimes I'm afraid. And so if you can prove to me right now on Talk Heathen at 2:10 p.m. Central Time that life exists after death of some kind, then you'll be doing me a favor. Go ahead. And it sounds like I'm being snarky as shit, and I am. But if you can prove it to me, I really will be grateful. So do it.
But then I also have a point after.
Damn it, Katy. You're going to take the wind out of my sails.
I didn't want to.
Kevin, go. Make it so.
Death is a really complicated thing. It really is, because I think that from the opposition that there's life after death, it would be like the camera behind your eyes are shut off after death. But that brings the problem of consciousness. Consciousness is separate from the mechanizations of the mind and the body.
Kevin, prove to me that life exists after death. Prove to me that life exists after death. Don't describe what death would be like. Prove to me that life exists after death, or I'm going to hang up on you and you can call back another week.
Well, maybe I can sidestep this problem if you can't describe it, because you said in order to show that there was going to be some kind of balancing and fairenization of humans when they die, you would have to prove there's life after death. But I don't think that's necessarily true, because your God could, or a God could make it so that you experience like an amount of extreme raw joy or raw suffering briefly as you die, because it, like, if you had like a million suffering points over your life and someone else had 0, then maybe as they die you just give them a million suffering points all in one go, and then everyone would experience the same amount of suffering over time, and we wouldn't need an afterlife. So I think I don't think we necessarily need to prove there's an afterlife, and then maybe to prove an afterlife you'd have to bring it into some argument about consciousness, and then to have an argument I don't think we really need that, because I mean you are asserting that like your God likes fairness, but then
Yeah.
God's made like a horrifically unfair bullshit. World, but also universe.
It's done a shit job. This is
really poor.
the most powerful being in existence who can't look like I'll do this. I'm God in my little thought experiment. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of parasites, and I'm going to get rid of cancer, and I'm going to let people, get rid of nasty bugs. There's enough food to go around for everybody. Also, limbs grow back. Also, why not do any of that stuff? It's so easy.
So bringing this back to like the original topic, which was like, it looks like the Earth has been made for humans. Yeah. In the sense of this fairness and stuff, and especially when we're talking about like the planets and how maybe I'm stepping further back here, but like the universe is like hilariously big. Like it's so big it should make you laugh. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then God, out of all this pointless space that God made, he made the Earth, which isn't even very good, and then on it he made it. Even within the Earth, it's not fair. And then even within humans, it's not fair. I mean, it just seems so like this isn't like he's made this like map and it's pretty balanced. But if you start in one place, you've got like a 5% advantage. It's not like that. It's like absolute garbage throughout the entire universe for humans. Like we can exist in effectively 0% of it. And then when we do exist in it, the one little corner that we have, it's still not even fair amongst humans, and some of them are just tortured to death. Like, I'm just not at all convinced that God is a fair designer.
No, Kevin, let's go back. Let's go back. Prove to me that life after death exists. Come on.
Okay.
Prove to me that life after death exists, and once you prove that to me, we can go on to Hitler's going to get his comeuppance. So is Franklin Graham. Go ahead.
Well, as a theist, I'm really big on what is. I don't like to change things. I want to fundamentally bring things to what is and what isn't.
Thank you for the preface, Kevin. Go ahead and give it to me. Tell me exactly how you can prove the existence of life after death.
Or why you believe that.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tricky because it's fleeting. Yeah. It really is.
It's what? It's fleeting?
We derive, it's fleeting, yes. That's why we derive with the uncomfortable subject with death. That's why we derive.
That's not an answer. Kevin, that's not an answer. Objection non-responsive. I'm sorry, Kevin. That's not an answer. Prove to me that there is life after death. Don't say you are. Do not try. Do or do not.
Do not approve, mate.
Yes. Give it to me. I need it. I need what you got. Give it to me.
I know you mean it. There's a saying that says that when a person dies, they die with their last breath. Okay, and that's why I explain this is a fleeting thing, because I believe that our God has designed our spirit to be fleeting as the aspect of wind. You can't see it, but you can only feel the effect.
You didn't prove it, Kevin. You didn't prove it, Kevin.
I don't really know how this is relevant at all.
Yes, there's a phrase. There is more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Says Hamlet to Horatio in Shakespeare, but that doesn't make it true. Kevin, listen to me carefully. Fuck the phrases. Those phrases can go and leave. All right, let me bring that down a little bit. Prove to me that there is sin phrases, sin aphorisms without wishful thinking or anything. Prove to me now that there is life after death. Show me some science. Show me is what is life after death? Is it a reincarnation? Is it a spirit realm? Is it, and I'm even afraid to give you examples because I'm afraid you're going to go down those paths. But prove to me some way of knowing that there is life after death, absent what the Apocrypha says, what sacred-text.com says. Prove to me so that I can know. And Please, please. I'm not actually frustrated. I'm just animated. Kevin, come on. Go ahead.
It's a tough thing. It really is, Johnny. It really is. I can only.
Could you do it given enough time?
Could you do it?
The format.
At the moment of death.
Yeah.
Could you ever do it? Could you ever create a proof for the afterlife or life after death? Is it that it's too tricky to do on this call, or is it that just you can't do it because they're different things?
That's a fair question, Katie. That's a nice one. I like that.
I think it's already been proven, but that's just me.
Not to me.
I mean,
not to me.
And if it's already been proven, could you just go and get the proof?
Yeah, sounds easy. If it's already been proven, yeah, go ahead.
Could you just call back next week with the proof and read it out, or maybe you could email it if it's like a picture, or you could do the maths, or like what, I don't know what is the proof. If it's been proven, then that's even easier for you. I'd say it's not tricky.
Kevin, fax it to me.
Yeah.
Fax it to me at johnnyp@atheist-community.org. And then we can talk about it. I will read your proof. Oh, I'll read your proof. And I'll come up with responses to your proof. All right? Do it. Yes, there we go. Let's talk about something specific. And Katie, do you have any homework for Kevin? Maybe you'd like to talk about something with Kevin? And he can do that too.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know what format the proof even takes. Like, is it maths? I'll take it on if it's maths. Maybe it's expressive dance. That would be really difficult over the phone.
Yeah.
Well,
Kevin,
I can give you guys some homework too, but
yes,
I would just need that other time to, you know what I mean.
Hey, you know what? We don't shy away from homework.
Thanks, Johnny.
So yeah, just give us something, Kevin, because or I hope you know, as well as I do, that you, I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just an instinct that you have, but you got little judo moves. You ask a question, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. People have been trying to prove the existence of the afterlife for thousands of years, and you just said it was proved. And you say that it's not fair and that there's a cosmic mechanism for making sure that those who deserve it get it. And I haven't seen that. So send us what you got, Kevin, and that will be the next thing that you talk about when I'm on next. Okay? Or Katie. And maybe we'll be on together. That'd be really swell. So with that said, Kevin, have a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Live by sight and not by faith. And we will talk to you another time.
Maybe go and check out how unfair the world is.
Yeah.
Because it is horrifically unfair.
Horrifically unfair.